Hello everyone, my name is Sharan Kumar. Welcome you all to my channel, The Excelism. In today's video, we will be discussing the concept of relative size factor test using Microsoft Excel. The RSF test is an important tool for detecting errors in forensic audits, investigations, or even for the regular audit what we do. The RSF test focuses on identifying subsets where the largest amount stands out from the rest of the amounts within the subset. There are several reasons why this difference may occur. It could be because the largest record actually belongs to another subset, or it could belong to the subset in question but has an incorrectly recorded numeric amount. Additionally, the largest record could be an anomaly or an outlier, requiring further investigation. To conduct the RSF test, we compare the top two amounts within each subset and calculate the RSF for each subset. The RSF is determined by dividing the largest record in a subset by the second largest record in the same subset. If I put in the formula, RSF is equal to largest record in a subset divided by second largest record in a subset. Now that we understand the concept of RSF test, let's move on to the practical demonstration. We will be using sample data to showcase how this test can be applied in Excel. So let's dive into Excel and explore the step-by-step process of conducting the RSF test. Without further ado, let's begin the demonstration and see how the RSF test can help us identify potential errors and anomalies in our data. So let's get started. In this data, we are having particulars in one column. This particular could be vendor name, a customer name, or GL name. From this vendor, we prepare a subset. In the second column, we have a value. Just for the easy understanding, this can be applied in any data that could be vendor data, customer data, or GL data. For the time being, I'm using in this entire tutorial vendor data. Now, the Ambuja Cements Limited, there is a transaction with a 3,375. There could be another transaction. There could be third transaction and so on. If I want to perform RSF test, I have to identify largest value in the subset of Ambuja Cements Limited and the second largest value from the same subset of Ambuja Cements Limited. So there are two methods in which we can calculate the RSF. First method, by using the dynamic array functions. If you are using the latest version of Microsoft Excel or Office 365, there are many dynamic array functions we can find. One, unique function, filter function, sequence function, and so on. First, I'll cover using this. Then, if you are not having Office 365 or any of the dynamic array function, if you are having old version of Microsoft Excel, how you can calculate RSF, that method also we'll cover. Let's look into the first method. Let's have your RSF method 1. I want to first take the vendor name. Since I said this is the first method using the dynamic array function, first I want to know how many subsets are there by using a unique function. I'll just go to the data. I'll select from A2 till A2084. Enter. All the unique company names appear one below other. Now I want to have the largest value. How to get the largest value? And here, let me have second largest value. Once we have this, then I can easily have RSF. This is nothing but this divided by this. As of now, since my numerator is 0, I'm getting div divided by 0 error. This column I'll fill it later. Let me bold. I want to have the largest value. In the easiest way, we can do this by using a simple function called max ifs but I want to make it dynamic. The meaning, if I write one single formula here, if I copy paste towards right side in bottom, the result should come automatically. Now, first, what I am looking for Ambuja Cements Limited, I want to have the subset of the data. In Microsoft Excel, there is a function called filter. By using the filter function, I can filter only for Ambuja Cements Limited. Now I can go to the data tab in this column, comma, what I want to include. But when I have taken only A column, that means my final result will be A. If I take A to B, for the time being, let me take from A column till B column of the data tab. And do you want the entire data or do you want the data which follow the criteria? I want to have the data which follows the criteria. What is that criteria? This particular column must equal to Ambuja Cements Limited. Wherever this criteria matches, then that record it has to extract from this data. If I enter, it's going to give me only Ambuja Cements Limited data. I'm sure you all can understand from this very easily. Don't worry, I'm going to change this formula, but just for the understanding, I'm going step by step. But I don't actually need Ambuja Cements Limited. This column is not required for me. So what I'm looking for now, instead of me taking A to B, I want to filter only the B column based on this criteria. So if I enter this records, these values are belongs to the Ambuja Cements Limited. But out of this array, I want the largest value. In Microsoft Excel, there are only two functions which can calculate the largest value. One, max function, the other one, large function. However, there is a difference between max and large. In max function, you cannot identify second largest value. Whereas in the large function, you can identify second largest value, third largest value, and so on. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll put this in the large function. The first argument array I calculated using filter function. I can simply put the second argument, comma, I want first largest. K is nothing but the constant. I want the first largest. Now, though this array is having so many values, since I'm only looking for one value using the large function, it's going to give me the highest value. Don't surprise. You just go and cross check the largest value in the Ambuja Cements Limited subset is 58860. If I want to have second one, it's very simple. I'll simply copy this formula. I'll paste here. I'll simply put instead of 1, 2. But as I promised, when I copy this data, when I paste here, it should come automatically. But it is giving num error. So what I need to do, I have to phrase this B column. Let me put F4. I want to even phrase this A column. Let me put F4. I don't want this column reference should change. So put the dollar $A2. Enter. Now you copy and paste, right? But this one should automatically change as a 2. So what I'll be doing, I'll insert here. I'll just keep 1. I'll just keep 2 so that I can give a reference to this equal to this. Don't leave it as it is because this is a relative reference. If I go down, my row should not change. But if I go towards right side, my column should change. So I have to give dollar symbol only for the row. Let me enter. Now this formula, I can copy towards right side. I can copy even bottom. Automatically, I'll get my answer. Just wait for some time because it is just calculating. Yeah, wonderful. Now you may find error. The reason is in the large function, for example, 10, 20, 30 is there, equal to, I want to find out of this array, second largest, I can guess answer is 20, third largest, I can guess answer is 30, fourth largest, since there is no fourth value, I'm going to get num error. Num error comes in a situation where argument types are correct, but when one argument is depending on the other argument, but if it is out of the range, it's going to give num error. In this case study, in this array, Three values are there, but I'm looking for the fourth value. It's not there. It is num error. That means if we can understand this, there is a company called HDFC Asset Management Company Limited. There is a transaction, highest transaction is 791703. There is no second transaction for this particular vendor. That means I don't want here any value. It has to just give me, because in these cases, I don't want RSF. I just want to have a title or a comment or it's called no second value, right? So how we can overcome this problem? On top of this formula, I can easily put a function called if error. If this is an error, let me do control Z. If this is an error, do you know what I want? I want not having second value or else no second value. Simple command, right? Just enter, copy, and control V. Don't worry, it's taking a little time because a lot of data is there. Done. Everything is done. Wonderful. Let me remove this for the time being. Let me save this. In a very simple way, we calculate it. Now let me put RSF. As I already mentioned, this divided by this. You may get error because here there is a text value when you copy and paste. Just to overcome that particular problem, if this, sorry, if error, if at all this is an error, then you just want just one. One is basically if both values are same, generally one. So we don't consider one. So enter, copy, and paste. One in the sense, uh, largest value and second largest value, there is no difference. Okay. So otherwise, if you want to highlight specifically these items, you can put only one transaction, something like that. Now I can simply have a filter for this data. I can filter for large amounts. Obviously, it is more than one because I'm comparing the largest value divided by the second largest. Largest is always higher than the second largest. So there's no case where largest value is lower than the second largest. So let's go to the end. Let me highlight all which are greater than 10. Enter. I will go and do some investigation on these transactions. Meaning, Gujarat Gas Limited, I found there was a transaction 1 crore 25 lakh 13,825. The second largest transaction from the same vendor, I found 30 to 400. If you want to extend this from the second largest to third largest and so on, don't worry, it's very simple now. Now I can simply, I'm just copying this, simply copy this, paste here, just put it three. I want to have third largest. In fact, RSF meaning is basically first largest and second largest. If you want to take this investigation a little further, probably even you can compare the third largest also. Now what I can simply do, just copy and paste here. It automatically calculates the third largest value. I just need to change the title. Okay. Otherwise, I'll put instead of second because now it is more of variable, no value. So that looks nice. Copy and paste. Paste here also. It automatically does the work. Don't worry. The reason is I have written the formula with a proper cell reference types. This is the way we can easily calculate relative size factor using dynamic array functions called filter. And we have used one more function called unique. I know what you are thinking. Saran, if we don't have Office 365 and if I'm using old version of Microsoft Excel like 2007 or 10, how we can solve this problem? Don't worry. Let's go and calculate RSF using the old method. Very simple. I'll just take this data, Control C. I'll just go here, paste special values. I will just go to the data. I will remove the duplicate. I'll just, okay, wonderful. So all duplicates got removed. Just for the time being, let me put this as a vendor. I want to have first are nothing but largest value. There is no problem in identifying the largest value because there is a Microsoft function called max ifs. I know max ifs introduced max ifs is not there in 2007 version, that has introduced after that. I'll tell you, even if max ifs is not there, how you can get the largest value. If at all max ifs function is there, we can directly use max ifs. What is the maximum range? That is nothing but this column, comma. What is the criteria range one? Look into this column, comma. What is the criteria? I'll go to this. I want this as a criteria. Enter, copy, and paste. Just comma with zero decimal. Wonderful. Very simple way we calculated the largest value. If at all you don't have max ifs function, meaning if you are using 2007 version, then don't worry. I'll tell you how you can do that. I'll take this data. I'll go to the insert. I'll use a pivot table. Let me click OK. Let me take this third because this is RSF second method. Now I will simply take, there are two columns. Let's take particulars here, put in the rows. Now let me take value here, keep it into the value. By default, when you keep a numeric column in the pivot table into the value fields, it automatically sum. I don't want to sum, but I want to max. I want to know what is the maximum value. Don't worry, it's very simple. Right click, summarize values by max. This is the way through which you can get the largest value among the one subset. Okay, so either you can go max ifs function or you can go this method. This is very simple. I don't think so there is a lot of issue here. But the biggest issue we get if we don't have the latest version is how to get the second largest value. Max, as I mentioned, doesn't have identifying the second largest value facility. That particular facility is only available in the large function. So what I'm going to do now, concentrate, this part is very important and little logical. What I'm going to do, I will go back to my versional data. I will identify what all are the largest values. I'll keep those aside. That means I'll delete or I put in a different format. And again, I'll do the pivot table. And again, I'll calculate the maximum value. Meaning, after removing the largest value in the data set, second largest value will automatically become first largest value. I hope you all understood the concept. So if you want the pivot table only in the case when you don't have the max ifs function. So only for this, the alternative method I have given this. So let me go back to this. But here, how to identify which values this particular record is there in which record? How to identify that is the question. Now, what I'll be doing, very important thing, I'll insert a column and I'll put this column as a serial number. Serial number tag in the audits, in the analytics is very important because why the serial number is required? Because when I'm trying to use a VLOOKUP function or some other formula where I want to check, example, let's say Ambuja Cements Limited 58860 is there. Let's say if I concatenate these two and search there, I'm sure I'll get the answer. I'll get where is the largest value. But if the same combination is there two times, those both will be identified as the largest value there. But I don't want that should happen. I want only the first one. Second one, I don't want. So that's the reason I always try to keep serial number as a primary key in the data set. Now I can simply drag down and I can just fill it as a series. That's all. So that serial number can be identified as a unique record. Now what I'm going to do here, I want to have what is the serial number. That means this particular record is belongs to which serial number in the original data. Again, this can be solved in two methods. If you have XLOOKUP function, in a very simple way, you can do this. Otherwise, if you have a VLOOKUP function, you can still solve. First, let me cover how we can do this using XLOOKUP function. If after that, I can tell you if you are using 2007 version or 2010, not having XLOOKUP, how to use VLOOKUP equal to. I can simply use a function called XLOOKUP. What is the lookup value? I don't want to just look for this, but I want to look the combination of this and this, comma. If at all this value is there, where I have to find this? I want to find this in this column, join with this column, so that this becomes a lookup array, comma. If at all this particular record, what I am looking for is available in this array, then what I am looking for is I want the value from this array. That is nothing but the return array. Let me simply close this. Enter. I'm 100% sure every record should have the serial number because this, after all, this value is coming from the original data. Let me copy and paste. It's taking a little time. Just wait for a minute because little huge data is there. I think some other programs are also running at the backend. No problem. I got the serial number. Now what I need to do, I want to identify this serial number in my data here. What I need to do now, very simple. I'll just go here. I'll check largest value record equal to. I'll simply use a VLOOKUP function. Either you can use XLOOKUP also, that's fine, but just for the time being, look for this value where within this column, if at all it is available, give me the same column value as an answer. Close bracket. Enter. Enter. I hope I'm clear. Now, NA means this particular record is not the largest value record of Ambuja Cements Limited. If NA means I want to take this particular value. So I'm going to ask a very simple question here. Is NA is number? I'll simply ask a question. Is this a number? Otherwise, what I'll be doing, is it error? If at all this is error, okay, let me close bracket. Is this error? My answer is true. True means this record I want here. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to put this in the if function. If at all this statement is true, I want this figure. Otherwise, you can put any text, largest value. Otherwise, it's the largest value. If it is not an error, that means what is the result? It is a serial number. If it is a serial number means it is identified in the large value. So I want that particular test here. Enter, copy, paste. I'm sure, I'm sure many largest value is there. Now Reliance Industries 451,778. I'm 100% sure. Yes. Check it out. Reliance Industries Limited 451,778 and so on. Now what I want, now let me change the title. Values except largest. Wonderful. Now what I'll be doing, I will put another pivot table. I'll just copy this data. Otherwise, you can simply go here. I'll put in both the methods. Now you can put your second largest value. How we can do this? Max ifs. What is a max range? This is the range, comma. Look into this column, comma, for this criteria. Copy and paste. You can simply put comma format, 0 decimal. I'm sure you got now largest value, second largest value. Let me put RSF, that is nothing but this divided by this. You can simply copy and paste this. There is a problem, divided by 0 because there is no second largest value. So I'm going to have if error, I just want 1 because 1 anyway I don't consider. for my investigation. So I'll just simply copy and paste. Wonderful. Now you can simply put the filter about 10. So I can have the number of filters greater than 10. Just enter exactly the same result what you found even here. I did not filter, is it? Let me filter greater than 10. Okay, so that's the way we can identify the RSF. Let me tell you, if you don't get like this the maxifs, otherwise you can even, let's say if maxifs is not there, then you can have another pivot table. Now I can go to the data. I can just have another pivot table. Finish. Simple. I will take now the particulars here in the rows. I will take now values except will adjust. Now I don't want this to be count. Right click, summarize values by, but I want the max. This value you can simply take to this so that you can get the second largest value. As simple as it. Now what I'll be doing, I would just want to move here. These two are with, if you don't have the maxifs function, how you can do using the pivot table. This is if you don't have the dynamic array functions like unique, filter, how you can solve. And the first method is the best method. You can simply have filter function, then large function, the work is over. I hope I have covered very elaborate on how we can calculate RSF. I think I missed a small point. In the method 2, this I calculated using XLOOKUP function. I'm sure many may ask the question, Sharon, if I don't have XLOOKUP function, I'm using 2007 or 10 version, XLOOKUP is not there. How we can solve this using VLOOKUP? Don't worry. Still using the VLOOKUP, you can solve this. What I can do, I can have the concatenation of this and this. Otherwise, you can leave it in anyway in the VLOOKUP. We can do this. But here you have to make sure you need to have this and this combination. So what I'll be doing, I will just put this combination as a first column because by looking into this combination, I want to get this value, right? So what I'll be doing, I'll just take this, join with this, right? Enter. I will simply copy and paste. Let me copy this and paste here. Not sure why my Excel is damn slow today. Right? Why I'm doing this activity? Because whenever I want to use the VLOOKUP function, the value which I am looking for must be into the leftmost column of the table. So I'll go back here. I will use VLOOKUP. Check for this combination of data where in this table, if at all it is available, get the second column value as an answer. Obviously, you will get the correct answer. This is using XLOOKUP and this is using VLOOKUP. But only the extra thing we have done for VLOOKUP function is this particular column in the data tab. So column for VLOOKUP example. For the time being, let me hide this. That's all, guys. I hope you all had elaborate explanation using the relative size factor. I request all of you from today at your audit, at your day-to-day work, at your organization, start using the relative size factor. I'm sure it can identify a lot of anomalies and it can detect a lot of errors. And if at all you identify that, make sure to tag me either in the LinkedIn or in the Facebook with this video. Thank you so much. See you all in the next video with the new topic.